If you want those relationships where you can just fart and be weird and lay out all of your quirks and tell them the deepest parts of your mind and know that they're not going anywhere because they love you to the end of this earth, you could go through life's ups and downs and you don't have to blink because that person is your soul friend. This is the video for you. Because finding soul friends can be like diving deep into the ocean, searching for pearls, and I'm fortunate enough to have built the most beautiful, meaningful relationships in my life. I don't even look at my friends as friends. I look at them as sisters. I look at them as my family. And throughout the time of our relationships, I have gathered so many gems that I believe can help anyone create meaningful new friendships and also take your current friendships to a deeper, more soulful level. So in this video, I'm going to break it down into two parts. The first part being how to prepare for soulful friendships, and then the second part being how to maintain and deepen them over time. This is my mantra, and I'll say it until my dying day. The best thing that you can do for others is work on yourself. And so before diving into friendship, being able to pay attention to the areas and the parts of you that need love, that need attention, and asking yourself the questions like, can I even be vulnerable with myself? Can I be honest with myself? You have to be able to create space and nurture yourself before you can do so for others. This is often why a lot of people end up feeling unfulfilled or become codependent in their relationships because they haven't taken the time to tend to the relationship that they have with themselves. Once you've established that foundation of grace and intimacy and love for you, you can then confidently enter a friendship or a relationship knowing that you have the capacity to give parts of yourself to another person, because that's really how relationships go. It's constantly giving and taking, this constant exchange of energy. And if you don't have the energy because you haven't even given it to yourself, it is so hard to show up for another person and hold space for them and their presence really in your life. Secondly, remembering our humanness. It's so important to remember that we are all just human beings floating on a rock in the middle of space trying to figure it out. It's so easy to get caught up in our little worlds with our little drama and our little distractions. So much so that we forget the bigger picture all of the time and we put these unrealistic expectations on people, especially because we see everything looking so perfect on social media. I'm here to tell you, I'm just here to like rip it all down. That's not true and not real. People will let you down, they will make mistakes, and they will absolutely be imperfect, and that is just what being human is. Entering your friendships with this mindset will really allow you to let go of that expectation of perfection, and I practice this in all of my relationships, and it has really allowed me to extend this level of grace that I honestly didn't have before. And keeping in mind that this doesn't mean that we should be attracting or holding on to relationships that are toxic or not for us. Yeah, just like a little side note, we aren't, that's not what that means. So once you feel all prepped and you're ready to dive deep into a friendship, it's time to get romantic. I want you to pull out all the romance cards. We often talk about romance when it comes to our lovers, right? But actually, romance is the center of friendship. Being transparent and vulnerable and just open about how you feel about your friends can take your relationship from something surface level to deep and soulful. Telling them how much you love them, what you find special and miraculous about them, or how safe that they make you feel in their presence. My best friend and I probably break into a love burst every 5 minutes we're together or on the phone, just talking about how much we're in love with each other and how grateful we are that our souls found each other in this lifetime once again. And this communicative nurture just feels so affirming and so sweet and loving. It makes a difference in our friendship because our hearts are constantly exploding and we're constantly starry-eyed at each other. It takes your friendship into that deep, deep romance where you know the love is there and it's strong and palpable and it makes you feel seen. I find that to be a very important thread, just affirmation of your love, that knowing between the two of you that I love you so deeply, and I'm gonna scream it from the rooftops. I'm gonna scream it at you because I never want you to question that or not know. What will also establish a deep, soulful friendship very quickly is putting your quirks and your weird on the table. Whatever you do, don't be cool. No one's cool. Actually, we're all cool because we're all weird, if that makes sense. Everyone is weird, and showing your weird is one of the highest expressions of love and authenticity. And I believe that this is important early on because if you're there acting cool, then they're gonna try to act cool, and then you never get to the good stuff. I feel like it really opens the curtain to the real show and breaks down those walls of shyness that can be there early on or the early facade that we all tend to put on. It's so liberating to put it all out on the table, be exactly who you are, because not only is it kind of like a weed out process, you can more easily determine who's for you and who's not, but it also allows the other person to be quirky as well. Opening up to someone in this way is what opens up that inner world in your relationship, right? Like the shared language, the insider jokes, the exclusivity, the kinds of noises, dances, skits, and existential comments that happen within my friendships. If the public actually heard these things, they'd probably be like, these people are wild. And if you find that, that's how you know that you found the coolest bunch. And I know it can be scary, right? To be your fullest self, your weirdest self. But if someone turns their nose to you when you are in full expression, that's just a sign that they are not a safe space for you and they're not the person for you. Nothing makes me more loved than when I am my quirky, weird self and my friends just witness me and laugh with me. And it's all wrapped up in this loving layer of acceptance. So show your weird, put your quirks out on the table, and trust that if they accept your weird, you know it's real. It's also important to speak each other's love language and communicate what makes you feel loved and fulfilled by another person. I really value presence in my relationships. Quality time is one of my main love languages, and so when that's missing, I can feel unloved. I think a lot of the time in friendships, we can expect something from the other person without necessarily communicating what we need, and then we consider it this huge pain point in our relationship. My advice is communicate your love language early, communicate it now, and remind your loved ones of what you need. One thing about humans, especially in relationships, is we can often get caught up in the me, and then we forget to return that intentional love we want the other person to feel. Just being mindful that people feel loved in their love language, not in yours, and knowing your friends, right? Knowing what makes each of them feel loved, because for everyone it's different. Intentionality goes such a long way in friendships, and it just takes your relationship deeper and deeper into the abyss of love. What makes those deep, soulful friendships is really honoring your connection in the beauty and the ugly of it all. The times where you are just the ugliest version of yourself, this is what will bring you closer together. And it's amazing to look back and be like, wow, you saw a version of me that was really going through it, that didn't have it together, and you still loved me and you still stuck by my side. My bestie and I go through this all of the time because sometimes we just be going through it. We can't always show up for each other at full capacity, so whoever can does, and sometimes we're just weak together and still holding hands through it all. It's a dance of unconditional love that replicates the love of source. It's seeing each other beyond the vessels you occupy, seeing the soul beneath it all, and your journey here on earth, a journey that ebbs and flows. Because life is such a spectrum, it's constantly moving, things are always changing, pain and happiness and all of it in between just cycles, right? But to have that friend, that soul friend that is your rock, that connection that is unmoving while everything else moves around it, is such a beautiful, special connection to have. The key is being able to meet each other where you're at over and over and over again. Every time me and my best friends reunite, it's like introducing each other to the newest parts of ourselves, the new versions that we have become, seeing their soul first and not getting caught up in who they were or the materialness of it all. It's like, no, I love you for the being that you are and all of the ways in which you're expanding and evolving. It takes effort and intentionality on both sides, but having radical acceptance of that reality can not only maintain your friendship, but continue to take it deeper and deeper. Because the more that you face together, the more of that friendship DNA strand you build. It's constantly weaving your story and constantly strengthening your bond. Also, when times are rough, or even if they aren't, it's it's always a good time to communicate your boundaries to your friends. I feel like boundary setting has such a negative connotation to it, and I've never understood why, because having active boundaries is what makes your relationships healthy. A good way to look at boundaries is just as your personal guidelines. Here are the things that you need to know about me. Here are my boundaries. Okay? And it got nothing to do with you. It's all about me. So, for example, being able to communicate boundaries around texting with my friends and letting them know, hey, if I don't text back quickly, it's not that I'm ignoring you or I don't want to talk to you. I just get overwhelmed with the instantaneousness of texting. But if you need to reach me quickly, just give me a call and I'll make sure to pick up, or I'll give you a call back. That's communicating a boundary so that my friends don't have expectations of me, right, that are not realistic, and they also know how I feel about the things. That's really all that boundaries are, just my guidelines, my rule book, my little instruction manual. Side note, my bestie recently said that no one should expect a response quicker than it takes a raven to deliver a letter, and that hit for me. Please await the raven with the letter before you expect a response. But yeah, communicating your boundaries in your friendship does not have to be scary. It is simply a way for you to learn more about each other and to love each other in ways that are more conducive for the friendship. I think it's important to take note of how people respond to your boundaries as measuring the level of respect that they have for you and your humanness and your autonomy. We don't talk about this enough, but the truth is having those soulful, authentic friendships will not always be easy. Sometimes difficult things have to be said and done, and that's just what it takes to have a healthy relationship. Okay, this is one of the most important threads of maintaining and having a soulful friendship: presence. There is nothing more valuable than giving someone your time and attention, looking at them in the eyes, holding space when they need it, crying with them when it hurts, and laughing together until you can't breathe. These are the moments that form memories that stitch into your brain forever. My closest friends and I have this ongoing memory role that we can replay like a detailed film because we're always fully there. We're always fully present with each other and in the moment. Presence is what creates a safe space for you and your friends to open up, to fully unravel and become, and do it over and over again. You can feel the other person's heart and soul right there with you, despite whether you're the best version of yourself, the worst, or in a state of becoming. Seeing your friends for who they are right now and loving them enough to hold their hand as you dance together, figuring it all out, is a true act of being present in your relationship. I am so grateful for the human beings in my life who have taught me what a soul friend is. If it wasn't for them, I would not have this wisdom to share and pass on. And I am also just so grateful for our soulful connection, being soulful friends in this digital space. I hope that this video helps you deepen or create soulful connections in your life. If this video resonated with you, I'd love for you to join my love letters in the description box, where I share more reflections and soul nourishment on a monthly basis. Thank you so much for being a part of this safe space, and I'll see you next time, angels. Bye!